What's up, gamers? Welcome to Battle Mallet Podcast, episode 80, Hexed, K-Pop Raging Slayers. For anyone that isn't familiar, the Battle Mallet Podcast is the journey of three busy gamers, sometimes playing games that they love, balancing life with those games, and making their way to the Nova Open Convention every year. Tonight's episode, we will be reviewing the new K-Pop Warband that came out, Kamandora's Blades, and the Raging Slayers Rivals deck. So I'm Jerod Johnson. Tonight I am joined by Trace Al Capone Hyde.
What's up? What's up?
And Jason Tabled Noob Murray. It's way too quiet.
Sorry. How's everyone? I'm rocking.
You are rocking.
Ready to go.
Got that K-Pop Demon Slayer soundtrack going on in the background.
Are you my little soda pop?
I'm ready to rock and roll with some soda pop. More importantly, I'm just happy that there's demons out there to slay with my brethren in the bolts. Ready to zap you. Zip, zip, zap.
Nice. So, it is July 15th. This episode is being released on pre-order day for the Kamandora's Blades and Raging Slayers Rivals deck. So we'll spend our time together this evening running through the Raging Slayers deck, doing our typical Rivals deck review, and then a little Nemesis upfit option. And then we'll also cover the Kamandora's Blades Warband. And because it's been way too long since the last time we recorded, it would take an entire episode to cover what we've been up to. So we're not going to do that. So instead,
Womp, 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 womp.
We're going to take a break and be right back. All right, and we're back. And we are here to talk about Kamandora's Blades. So this is the new Warband that's being released alongside the Raging Slayers deck. We want to say a quick thank you to Games Workshop for sending us an advanced copy to review, to put this content together for everyone. So we'll start with a little flavor text read. I don't think I'm going to do it as well as Jason did last time, but I'll do my best. Kamandora's Blades dwell in the wastes left by Crone armies. Guided by their matriarch, the Pharaoh clanmates Galista, Antrocrast, and the Hound Kanat weaken and bleed their foes before Throck hacks their heads free. It is the clan's goal to add these to the charnel pyramid that marks where the legendary Korgus Kull attained demonhood. Ooh, spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
On their journey, they must pass through Emberguard, where Kamandora senses worthy skulls to claim. So, it's a 5-fighter warband. There is Kamandora, who is the matriarch, the leader, 3 human fighters, and then a very twisted doggo.
It's a bulldog.
It is a bull. Oh, I get it. It's a bulldog. Mess with the bulldog, you're going to get the horns.
Yeah, it's a bulldog.
Yeah. So the warband in and of itself is pretty straightforward. All of the fighters are moved 4. 2 dodge on Kamandora, 1 dodge on all of the others. Kamandora has 3 health. Throck has 4. Galista and Antro have 3 health. Kanat, the bulldog, has 2. And then their bounty characteristics are 2, 2, 1, 1, 1. You guys can check the cards out in all of the various media sources. And then they should be pretty straightforward to play. They all have range 1 attacks. Kamandora and Throck start on 2 hammers for 2 damage. Galista and Antro start on 3 swords for 1 damage. Kanat starts on 2 swords for 1 damage. But they all have this interesting little slashing sword weapon ability icon, which I guess leads us to their war scroll. So, Jason, what is that little slashing sword icon on all of their weapons?
It's slashing.
Sweet. That's intuitive. I like it.
When a weapon with this weapon ability inflicts damage on an enemy fighter, give the target a bleed token. If an enemy fighter with any bleed tokens uses a core ability, inflict 1 damage on that fighter after resolving that ability. Then remove that fighter's bleed tokens. Otherwise, remove all bleed tokens from enemy fighters immediately after your opponent's power step or at the end of the battle round.
Nice.
Blood for corn.
Blood for corn. Yeah, that's the name of the ability. One of the abilities on the war scroll. So, what are our thoughts on this?
It's a cool little way that you can potentially have some control in a aggro warband.
Yeah.
Trying to delay actions stuff like that. I think it's pretty cool.
Listen, in principle, like having done a few test runs with this, playing against them at least, it's really cool. Like it is a cool ability that can lock down fighters. So you really make your opponent kind of second guess. Like obviously you're going to be the aggressor with this warband. You go and you hit them because they are fairly accurate. You give them this bleed token. This slashing bleed token. And now they really have to, do I want to take another damage or do I wait till next turn? So it can definitely play in this kind of control way. I really enjoyed it. And I was, again, playing into them. It really made me think. And specifically with, I think, the way we're leading is more of a aggro kind of meta. Just in general, feels like 4 fighter warbands are still ruling the roost, or maybe a big fighter warband. This can really play into decision makings.
Yeah. I mean, and like it kind of gives your opponent some pause, especially if you're charging in and doing, with some of the stuff that we're talking about in our other part of this review. These fighters want to be aggressive, so like charging in and causing some kind of devaluation on the next action. They can't just like stand there and swing at you, like they actually have to take some kind from it, which is cool.
Yeah.
So there's some cool synergy there. It's cool.
Yeah. And the idea that, I mean, you could literally make somebody choose. Let's say I go in with, and I do 2 damage with Kamandora or Throck, right? And now that a 3 health fighter has a bleed token, well, do you take an action?
Right.
In hope of getting some value out of that fighter? Or do you not activate them, and then all I have to do is come in with one of the other fighters to do that last point of damage? Or I do it to a 4 health fighter.
Or a ping.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. I think there's a nice control aspect to it. That was my experience. It was a lot of puzzling things out, playing it against Jason's Brethren of the Bolt in the couple of practice rounds that we ran.
Yeah, it's like
with the warband.
I'd imagine you want to get these out early, as early as you can, to try and dictate the pace of the game too.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that naturally leads us into like, well, how do they play? What else is going on in the war scroll? I mean, you want to be aggressive with them.
Sure.
I think they're corn, right? Just thematically. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about their inspire condition. So when they inspire, everybody gets more accurate. So Kamandora and Throck go to 3 hammers. Galista, Antro, and Kanat all gain an additional dice. So they're on 4 swords or 3 swords each. And then I think most importantly, they all go to 2 dodge. So they get those coveted 2 defense dice. So I think you want to get them inspired. And that happens immediately after a power step. Inspire each friendly fighter adjacent to the enemy-worthy skull. Immediately after the enemy-worthy skull is slain by a friendly fighter, inspire that fighter. So what's the worthy skull? Well, that's the next box. A worthy skull. Kamandora's mind is racked by visions from Khorne, the lord of battles that guide her to the skulls she must see added to his throne. At the start of the first action step in each battle round, if there are any enemy fighters on the battlefield, you must pick an enemy fighter to be the worthy skull until the end of the battle round. So you pick any enemy fighter, they are nominated to be the worthy skull, and then any of your fighters that end a power step adjacent to the worthy skull, or any fighters that slay the worthy skull, will get inspired. So you got to get close and stay close. The aggression is there. The fighter cards want you to be aggressive. And then they have this surge ability, Slaughterous Pilgrimage. Kamandora's blades burn with zeal and see the taking of skulls as their holy purpose. So kind of funny that I played this warband into the Brethren, right? The 2 holy warbands playing against each other. Immediately after you pick an enemy fighter to be the worthy skull, you must push each friendly fighter 1 hex closer to the enemy worthy skull. So after deployment, before the first action is taken, all of your fighters are getting pushed 1 hex closer to the fighter that you chose.
Yeah,
so,
this was juiciness.
You're getting in there, man.
Yeah, it really increases the range on battle round 2 and 3. It not necessarily the first time you're playing against them. You think about it. It sets things up where you go from I'm safe because I have driven back. I'm going to make a move a charge. I spend some pushes, and they're right next to you. It also really enables the player who is piloting them to kind of set up, all right, here's my engagement plan. Let's get next to the Worthy Skull. Let's, save it to inspire or utilize it for positioning. It's just little subtle little twists of the dial that you can use to make this warband yours.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Spoiler, don't kill the Worthy Skull with your first activation in a battle round. Because that fighter will inspire, but you've probably charged with that fighter, and then none of your other fighters can inspire, because you don't get to pick another Worthy Skull until the next battle round. So, just hot tip there. Don't do that. Anyway.
I really recommend it. It works out well.
Yeah, it worked. It worked out really well for you. So the last thing on their war scroll, they do have a one-time use ability. It is Call the Pursuit. The Slavering Hound Canat heeds Kamandora's every command. Use this in your power step. Instead of playing a power card, pick a friendly minion, push that fighter up to 4 hexes, so it is adjacent to a friendly leader. This ability can only be used once per game. So 4 hex push, the doggo ends up next to the leader. Super powerful repositioning card. Like, you could dive in with the dog and then pull it right back and then force your opponent to come to you, or use it to get the dog like out of a bad starting position.
Yeah, the repositioning. I mean, it is said that it is the dog, but the dog's a 2-wound fighter, so he can really go in, tenderize something, get him back to safety, or if you miss deploy or your opponent comes in, takes a swipe and misses, allows you to get him out of dodge or set up a support if they come in and try to hit your leader. Because I think the other thing to mention too is the leader being 3 wounds. It's kind of like a
a little dicey.
Yeah, it's a little mix, right? So like she being 3, and then you do have a 4-wound fighter, which is great, but that 3, you just can't lose somebody early in this warband.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. So I don't hate the deck that got released with them to go into it. So if we want to talk about possible deck pairings from I think we can start from rivals. We can get into why that is, in the next section. But any other hot takes?
Any of the aggro decks.
Yeah.
Like Blazing Assault.
Yeah. Reckless Fury.
Yeah.
Reckless Fury. Any of those.
Yeah, they come out hot being aggro. Then the nice thing is that they do go to the 2 dodge if you can manage to inspire them. They need kind of push and consolidation shenanigans to help them with that inspire. A little bit lacking in the damage. That's the other reason why I think you have to lean into kind of like Blazing Assault or one of the ping decks, because there are, you have those 3 fighters that are just hitting for 1 with the slashing, so it could be 2.
Yeah.
But it's not as reliable in your plan. But they're a really good balance with the 4 move, the semi-decent accuracy, and once you get them inspired, they can munch. My first is barf. Just barf it up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think there's probably a world in which some scientist somewhere puts together something with Pillage and Plunder, because you push at the beginning of the battle round, so you don't have to be like, it's not going to mess up any in-phase scoring for being on feature tokens. But I think you're playing against what the mechanics of the warband want you to do if you're trying to be on feature tokens instead of attacking fighters. But that's, I think, one of the things that continues to be really cool about the 2nd edition is that your fighter cards may lend you one way, but the way that you win games is tied completely to the deck that you've built. So it allows for this experimentation. So, I'm going to come out the gate and say that this is probably a gold new player rating.
Yeah, it's like a more techie version of Garrick's Reavers.
Yeah, always be charging.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I really wish that the warband had a ranged fighter or some sort of ranged attack. Like, that is my only kind of...
Yeah. Somebody hucking skulls.
Yeah.
Or like a range 2, maybe.
I just think of Godsworn Hunt and Olo, right? Like,
yeah, but he wasn't Khorne.
He wasn't, but...
Missile weapons are for cowards, Jason.
I know.
I don't think that it's like... I would say that it is, if we had like half tiers, it would be like the very bottom.
Yeah, like a gold minus.
Yeah, because like there's some, like, this is a very positional heavy warband. Like
Yeah, with its inspire condition and
the
the
inspire
worthy
condition,
skull,
yeah, and then the slaughterous pilgrimage part. Like you have to kind of play a turn ahead almost to kind of understand where you might want to be or get back to.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
they're like fringe gold.
yeah, they want to be where the people are.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough.
They want to see.
I can accept
dancing.
that. Cool. Well, I think that covers the Blades, our new K-pop warband. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about the Raging Slayers Rivals deck.
Forgive me if I screw it up when Jason starts talking.
All right, we ready?
Oh,
We're going
I
in
think so.
10 seconds, but
I'm crying, so. Whew. All right, then 3. Rivals deck, Raging Slayers, Emberstone, Rage Rock, the Realmstone of Akshi, and the root of Emberguard's strategic importance. Deep, engorged veins of substance run through the large mountain on which the city stands. It is both fuel for Sigmarite's industry and the fuel for the raging hearts of its beating warriors. For to grasp Emberstone is to be filled with fury and killing anger. The fact that Emberstone can burn a soul to ashes is to many desperate folk second to the power it offers. By letting anger ignite, they can survive one more battle, one more hour. They burn so bright that enemies are sent fleeing before them. However, perhaps that is also because a fire will consume everything, even the ones who bear it.
Raging Slayers Rivals deck. It comes with a plot card. Ooh.
Yay!
Yay! While using this Rivals deck, you use the following abilities. Raging Charge. Immediately after picking a friendly fighter to charge, give that fighter a rage token. Fighters with a rage token are enraged. Then you can have a surge ability, Raging Strike. After you make an attack roll as part of a melee attack for an enraged, engorged friendly fighter, you can immediately re-roll one attack dice in that attack roll. That's pretty sweet. Rerolls.
Yeah, just
We're
a
rolling.
reroll.
They also have a surge ability, Poor Footing. They suck at walking. You must use this immediately after an enraged, engorged friendly fighter was attacked if that fighter is not driven back or grappled. Push that target 1 hex away from the attacker. Your opponent chooses the direction of that push. Remove all rage tokens from the engorged and rage friendly fighters at the end of the battle round.
I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
It does.
That it does.
I'm not wild about the poor footing, but
it's really hard to stand next to somebody when you're engorged. I mean, I'm sorry, enraged.
It seems a fair trade for a reroll on essentially every attack that's a part of a charge. So,
yeah,
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. We'll see how it plays out through some of these cards. But the fact that you're just getting something for charging is pretty sweet. Yeah. So,
which in this meta, a lot of people want to do. Like, that's just, it's all
it is an arena combat game.
Right. Yeah.
So we always wants to be charging.
You want to get in and mix it up.
That's right. Comes with dice for a reason.
Yes. Ouch. So where do we want to start with objectives? Jerod?
Yeah, so I said at the top, we'll do our standard rivals review. We're looking for the top 3 objectives, ploys, and upgrades that you want to see in your opening hand. We'll then expand that into 6 total objectives, 5 total ploys, 5 total upgrades. Are they still called ploys? Or are they gambits now?
They're ploys.
All right, sweet. So that you have half of a Nemesis deck. So I think we always want to be charging. I think despite our poor footing, it's important to put your best foot forward. Score this immediately after a friendly fighter's successful attack if that fighter has any charge tokens and is in enemy territory. So easy to get early. I don't know about everyone else, but I have played games where I don't have any targets in enemy territory after like the second half of the second battle round. So seems pretty good to me. And that reroll on the charge It's going to help you make that attack successful.
I mean, what really separates this card from everything else is it has Olo on it.
It does have Olo.
It does. So I think that's why it's just the best card in the deck. But no, I mean, yeah, to your point, you got to make a charge early. You have to have somebody in enemy territory. The only really downside to this is it has to be successful, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. Trace, where do we want to go after that?
No respite, no respite, whatever you want to say that word. Score this immediately after an opponent's action step if there is an enraged enemy friendly fighter in each territory. So you're going to be charging most of the time anyway, so you're going to be enraged. The only thing here is that you want to try and be kind of spread out.
Yeah.
So it's a good way to like score this is if somebody comes across and is aggressive in your territory, you can charge them or try and get a fighter in no man's land.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to score earlier. The hardest part here, it would be getting that enraged fighter in friendly territory.
Yep.
Because you will be early charging. So typically a warband with a range attack can kind of pull that off. And then don't forget warbands like we just covered where they have something that can, push the dog. Like maybe you charge in with your leader into enemy territory, like charge the dog somewhere else and then move the dog into the other territory, like bring them into no man's land with a push. Could kind of help there. So good one.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then finally, in our opening hand, we want aggressive expansion. Score this in end phase if 3 or more enraged friendly fighters are engorged in enemy territory. Again, we want to be going, but the big thing here is some of the cards in the deck remove enraged tokens. And I kind of want to get those. I want to get these score where they need them in the end phase out of the way. Plus, depending on what warband we're playing, having 3 fighters may not happen in rounds 2 and 3. But this one I think is fairly easy because we're going to be aggressive. And typically you don't lose all your fighters in round 1. Typically.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Hopefully not. That's a quick game though, if you did.
Yeah.
So if we're dipping back into the objectives to build out our Nemesis deck, Trace, where do we want to go for maybe the 4th one?
Coordinated assault.
Is it coordinated?
Is one that I liked. Score this immediately after an action step if each friendly fighter is enraged in an enemy territory.
Oh, man. It's kind of seeing a theme.
Yeah. So this would be a 3rd surge, which is always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I interrupted you. So
yes, I did not specify that it was a surge. So thank you for the.
Oh, so you want to be an enemy territory friendly fighter. Again, like late game, you might only have 1. So
yeah, or a couple.
Pretty easy to score on a single activation. Maybe it's the 2nd round and you're charging with 2 or 3 fighters. Again, we want to be over there anyway. Yeah, I like it. It's a pretty solid one. Next, we'll pick Overwhelming Presence. Score this in end phase if each friendly fighter is enraged and there are no fighters holding treasure tokens. So this one is kind of cool, but at the same time, you got to play some counter to your opponent. You're going to be attacking. Hopefully you're driving off those objectives, maybe, pushing onto them through your own kind of stuff. But remember at the end, no fighters holding treasure tokens. And this is where, the footwork thing could come into play here. Make sure you're making sure that you're charging in an appropriate way where your opponent is not able to then push you and block your own objective. So
yeah.
And what's the last one we're going to grab here to build a Nemesis deck, Jerod?
Yeah, so I think we're going to go with End of the Fire. Score this in an end phase if your leader is in enemy territory and within 2 hexes of 2 other fighters. So a lot of the other cards that we've picked are pushing you to be in enemy territory. If your leader is next to your own fighters or within 2 hexes of your own fighters and in enemy territory, I think you've got this one. Fairly easy to set up and score. Should be consistent. So
cool.
I think the one thing worth calling out is that Overwhelming Presence is that 2 glory in phase. So it is a little bit of work. And your opponent does have some counterplay to it, but it is worth 2 glory.
Great shout out. That leads us right into the ploys. We're going back to the first three that we want to see in our opening hand. It's the three that we want to see in our rivals games. Trace, what is the first ploy?
Senseless haste. Friendly fighters have +1 move in the next turn. After any friendly fighters move in your next turn, give that fighter a stagger token.
+1 move can be very helpful.
So especially when it just says +1 move in the next turn, you don't have to nominate a fighter. You just put it down and you can move any fighter.
You can still play Wings of War.
Yeah.
You can.
Once they're selected. +3 in total. Ooh.
Spicy.
We're getting ahead. We're getting ahead into that nemesis. Jerod, bring me back to our ploys in Rivals.
Yeah, so I think we want to see Murder Lust early. So this is Surge. Play this immediately after an enraged friendly fighter's melee attack fails. Friendly fighters' melee weapons have +1 attack dice while targeting the target of that failed attack until the end of the battle round. So you want this early. Probably use it on the first attack action, because either having a card that requires a failure for you to play is going to guarantee the success of the attack, because that's how math works, or now all of your other fighters get an additional die when they're attacking that fighter.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Plus, you're enraged, you're engorged.
You lusting.
Yeah, you can lust for something. I totally get it.
Murder.
This is not Slanesh
Lust.
we're talking
Oh,
about, Jason.
Oh, this is Corn. I forget.
Yeah.
The last one for our opening hand in Rivals, the first three, is Honed Reflexes, or as I like to call it, Horned Reflexes. It's a domain. Each time you make a save roll for an enraged, engorged friendly fighter, you can reroll 1 save dice in that save roll. This effect persists until the end of the battle round or until another domain card is played. You're going to be in enemy territory. You're going to be the aggressor. It is fantastic to be able to reroll your save dice, and for the aggressive warbands that can get to 2 doges, evades. Dodge.
No,
Yeah, that's
they're
what
dodges. You were
good.
right.
Okay, good. Yeah, got it. It's really good. So I like it. Plus, there's a shadow elf on this card.
Spoilers.
All right. So when we dip into our bag of tricks and push on to build Nemesis, what's the first card you're taking, Jerod?
Well, I mean, it is the Raging Slayer's deck, so it seems silly to not take a card that has the word Slayer on it. So I'm going to go with Slayer's Aid. Pick an enraged friendly fighter, push that fighter up to 3 hexes. That push must end adjacent to your leader. And so, Trace, you called this out in the pre-show. This is like a reverse commanding stride.
Yeah. Yep.
But we would be remiss in our job as the Battle Mallet podcast if we did not recommend a push deploy. And this one's pretty good.
Yeah. Especially like in the context of the warband we just talked about too. There's just a lot of other cool push deck you can use this with, which is awesome.
What's that last one, Trace?
Slayer's Arena.
Ooh, another Slayer's card in the Slayer's deck.
This is a domain. After each failed attack, give the attacker a stagger token. This effect persists until the end of the battle round or until another domain card is played. So missing an attack gives you a stagger token.
And that doesn't say friendly fighters.
No, it's all fighters.
All fighters.
Yep.
Yeah.
The blood must flow.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that one. I mean, I don't like that it's another domain, which can kind of mess up our 2 domains.
Sure, yeah.
But anything that makes your opponent just think, like, I can go in here and take my shot, shoot my shot.
If I miss, I might get hit real hard.
I'm going to get that stagger token, be right next to somebody. Ouch. Well, cool. So that is the gambits. That is our choices for both Rivals and Nemesis. And that leads us into the upgrade time. And I'm going to have the pleasure to select the upgrade that is entitled Haymaker. And just for all of our listeners' education, if you have a fighter that has Haymaker equipped, your attack probably will not succeed no matter how many dice you roll. Okay? Just so everyone's aware. It's a little throwback to way back in the day.
This is a callback card. It's different now, but it's a callback card.
This fighter's melee weapons, excluding upgrades, have the lethal weapon ability. After this fighter makes a successful attack with lethal, discard this card. So it's a 1 use only. Lethal that fighter's weapon has +2 damage for the attack to a maximum of 4. It costs 2 glory to equip, but I love it. It is so cool to see a 2 damage upgrade come in, one use, rightfully named. You can modify like the dice, like so you can juice it up, but just know, give it to the fighter that you never want to make an attack. That's the
That's right.
fighter.
Yeah. So I like how it. There are 2 things that I really like about this. Well, 3 things actually. Now that I look at it, that I like about this card from the design space. Number 1, I like that there's the caveat that it's excluding upgrades.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you can't give like, not that you would give the squig an attack action upgrade because the squigs from Zarbag's Gits are actually pretty good
juicy
fighters.
Yep.
Right. But like you pick a ranged fighter and then you give them a melee attack upgrade. You can't apply this to that. The second thing that I like is that after this fighter makes a successful attack with lethal, discard this card. So you could put this upgrade on your fighter. You could opt not to use the lethal ability in one attack, so you get to retain the card. And then it has to be successful in order for you to discard it. So if you come in and you swing with this and you fail, you still get to keep the upgrade. So, and then the fact that it caps the damage at 4. So you're not going to be able to throw it on Crowjack and have him swinging for 5 damage or throw it on. Yeah. So I think I like it. I think it's a really well designed card. I'm a fan.
Agreed.
Cool stuff. Well, if you're such a big fan of the Haymaker, what's the next upgrade we take?
Well, I mean, you're throwing haymakers. I think some people might call that an angered swing. So this is an attack action upgrade. Range 1, 3 swords, 2 damage. A fighter can only use this weapon while enraged. So gotta have charged or be charging. When using the Raging Strike ability with this weapon, the Raging Strike ability is the surge ability that lets you reroll 1 attack die while you're enraged. You must reroll each attack dice instead. So you're going to either take what you get or you're going to reroll all of them. And I don't know about everybody else, but I feel like whenever I make a 3-sword attack, it's either like just a giant whiff or it's like a crit and a hit. And so, yeah, like I'm either going to reroll all of it or keep what I got. So, and it's only 1 bounty, 1 glory.
That's cool. It's cool, and it's great just to get a weapon upgrade. Not every deck comes with good ones. So, Trace, what about our 3rd upgrade for Rivals?
In the words of Herman Boone from Remember the Titans, agile, hostile, mobile. That's what you want to be. And the card's name is Agile. It has a surge ability called Deft. After you make a save roll for this fighter, you can immediately re-roll 1 save dice in that save roll. It is 2 glory to equip.
Nice. So expensive, but
it's
that re-roll.
But the re-roll is good, especially if you're on some not so sturdy fighters that you might want to try and get that lucky dice off with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanna roll that crit on their lethal attack where they don't have any crits and reduce damage by 1. That's what you want to do.
Perfect.
That's right.
Perfect.
And then it's a successful attack action. They have to discard lethal, and you're like, haha.
You only did +1 damage. Took out my 3 health fighter anyway.
All right, Jerod. We're going into the building process.
Yeah. So we didn't call all of these out, but some of the cards that we did use hand out stagger tokens. And this deck means that you automatically get pushed when you're attacked, regardless of whether the attack was a failure, a success, or a tie. So we really like Stubborn to the Bone. While this fighter is enraged, this fighter cannot be pushed or given stagger token. So you're not going to be able to push your own fighter in that way, but you're also not going to be pushed around. And also love that my boy Jedrin is right there front and center, taking one from Bridget.
Jedrin. Has he appeared in any other cards in version 2?
I
don't think so.
I don't know.
He's in 2 cards in this set.
What?
Yeah. He's in Wrong-Footed Stance, and he's in Stubborn to the Bone.
Oh, he is in Wrong-Footed Stance. Look at that.
Yeah. With his big old shield.
All right, Trace, bring us home. The last card we're selecting.
United in Anger. There's a surge ability called Rally Together. Immediately after an enraged friendly fighter is pushed, you can push this fighter up to 1 hex closer to that fighter.
Nice.
come together in anger.
Yeah,
United, if you will.
United,
that's right.
But not with Jedrin and his
When he's stubborn.
stubborn to the
Yeah,
bone.
I mean the idea that your fighters are going to get pushed around anyway,
Exactly. Yep.
that you can kind
Kinda
of
counter it a
react
little
to
bit.
that.
Yep.
So I mean, you could do that like every time with this fighter.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So lots
Yeah,
of
and
pushes.
if you're playing the new Commandos, you can give the worthy skull out and
Push.
really set
Just
some
push
good
again.
pushes.
Just-
Yeah,
Creep ever closer.
creep them all.
Yep.
Well, great.
Well,
So
cool.
Raging Slayers playstyle aggro.
Check.
For sure.
Check. Chickadee check. Boards, Jerod. What kind of boards?
As wide as
I've
these
forgotten
guys.
what we called them.
The
Gears?
clear.
The clear one. Sundial is
And
what we called
fives.
it. Yeah,
We'll
and then
start
I
with
think fives, right? So the board is narrower, so you can get deeper into enemy territory.
Go deeper. Yep.
Yep.
With your enraged
Fighters.
fighters.
Anyway, new player rating. What do you think, Jason?
Silver.
Silver.
Yeah, silver
So-
just because of the positioning.
Yeah, so some positioning, and we didn't go into it all here, but there is some. It just doesn't always flow. There's some counterintuitive kind of play things throughout the deck where you want to use some ploys. Again, from a rival standpoint, you want to use these ploys and gamuts and they'll remove enraged tokens, and that doesn't always pair well with your objectives. So it's definitely know when to push and pull. So I definitely agree, kind of that average player, not our new player. And then Trace, what kind of warbands are we looking for?
I mean, really, any warband that already kind of lends itself to aggression, I think, is going to do well with this. I think you actually could score some of these other ones pretty easy with a smaller, like 3-fighter, 4-fighter warband instead of a warband because of the number of times it says all friendly fighters and stuff like that. It's just easier for you to.
Yeah. I think because you can only give a rage token when you make a charge action.
Right.
Not just because you have a charge token. Like that almost immediately eliminates anything with more than 4 fighters.
Correct.
For exactly what you said.
Yeah.
The fact that there are so many cards in here that require you to have all of your friendly fighters in. But there are a lot of 4-fighter warbands that have ranged attacks that help with that positioning and stuff. So
That's a good call out too, Jerod, because we discussed this pre-show and I don't think mentioned it in talking, but there are no ploys to actually enrage any fighters in this deck.
Yep.
So the only way to do that is to charge.
Yep.
And it doesn't say has a charge token. It says charge.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and then just for our Nemesis pairing, Blazing, Blazing and Reckless. Wow, that was a good one there. Blazing and Reckless are our two pairings choices. I'm really excited to get it kind of going with Blazing. I'm excited to try it with the new Warband. I'm excited to try it with my so awesome Brethren of the Bolt. I love move shenanigans. I like the extra damage. Gonna work something up for those. Yeah. Any other thoughts on building with this deck?
No, I'm excited to see it in the wild.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you, GW, for the preview copies of both. We're excited to get them out there in the world, and we're going to take a break and come back to close out the show.
And we're back, and that wraps up the 80th episode of the Battle Mallet podcast. Again, thanks Games Workshop for sending us advanced copies of Kamandora's Blade and the Raging Slayer's Rivals deck for us to review and get this content out to everyone. If you've enjoyed this episode, that's awesome. If you haven't, let us know. We'll always take some feedback. We do appreciate you taking the time to listen to us ramble on, as we tend to do. So if you want to follow us on socials and you're not already, we are Battle Mallet HQ in most places, on X, Instagram, Blue Sky. We are Battle Mallet Podcast on Facebook. battle-mallet.com is the website. We have a Discord. You can find the link to that in the show notes or on any of our socials. Trace, you're at Al Capone on Instagram.
Correct.
ALCPWND.
Correct.
Al Capone. And Jason is sometimes Table Noob on X.
Sometimes. I'm always on
You're always Table Noob.
Table Noob. Just not on socials all that often.
That's right. Anyway, so as far as shout-outs go, I think the only one that we really have is come hang out with us and play Underworlds at Nova. 2 golden tickets up for grabs. So we're keeping an eye on the attendance numbers. We'll be refining the tournament pack and the schedule and stuff as we get closer and closer to that date. But if you have any questions about that or getting there or what Nova's about, please ask us. And then just keep an ear out. We'll have some future episodes coming down. Jason and I still have to sit down and regale everyone of our amazingly smooth, no hiccup adventures to the north to Madison to play in the Madtown Throwdown.
What a fun time.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was fine.
Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah, it was fine.
It'll be fine, Jason. It's fine.
It'll be fine. Anyway, so I think that's it. I think that's all we've got going on. So I got nothing for the Battle Mallet podcast. This will be fun. I'm enraged.
I'm engorged.
I'm veiny.
Get the hell out of here.
Peace. Go Bills.
The Battle Mallet podcast is protected under the Creative Commons license. If you have further questions as to its use, you can find more information via links on podcast.battle-mallet.com. Music by Anno Domini Beats.
Dirty Pop. Sick and tired of hearing all these people talk about what's the deal with this pop life and when it's gonna fade out. Thing you've got to realize what we're doing is not a trend. We got the gift of melody. We're gonna bring it till the end. Come on now.
It doesn't matter.
Got the car dry with ice around my neck.
Doesn't matter.
So that you recognize that it's just about respect.
I can't even right now. That was